Hey, it's Meg. Welcome back to my channel. So today I have an altered book journal with me session for you, and I'm also going to be experimenting, as you can see, with my jelly plate. Now, I am by no means a jelly plate expert. I'm barely a beginner. I went to a workshop last year where I used one of these for the first time, and I've kind of put it away and not really come back to it since because there's going to be a bit of a learning curve here with figuring out how to make a jelly plate work for me. As you can see by the neon colour that's on your screen right now, this was not my intention with that green colour and how it came out on the plate. So we didn't really get off to a good start because if you're familiar with my journals and the colour palettes that I use, this is not something that normally features in my journals, but I thought, okay, well, we'll carry on and we'll still see what prints we can make and how we can make some fun collage papers. So essentially what I ended up doing was kind of trying and failing with these prints and just sort of seeing what I could create. And then what I'm going to do is use the papers then in my art journal page and use them more as just sort of background pieces rather than having them be a focal point. So, I could have just painted on my page at this point when you see how I've actually used them in my journal pages, but I still wanted to give it a go and have a try at seeing what different techniques I could do. So the second layer that I did, you'll see here, I'm using the pink. And this is obviously way more comfortable for me in terms of colour schemes. And I'm just trying to draw in some like leaf patterns with the end of a paintbrush just to see if that might give a cool effect. Like I said, it's purely just trying different things and seeing what I can come up with because it's just paper at the end of the day, paper and paint. So I'm just sort of seeing what interesting things I can do and use them then within my journal pages. And of the prints that I did, I tried to use some different colours. So I also came in with some yellows and a bit of a sepia, almost orange paint. And then I also was printing on these book pages, as you'll see. But then I also tried with some tracing paper, which I know because I've seen people use, is it deli paper, which I think is basically just like baking paper or greaseproof paper here in the UK, and that had a really cool effect and it was really crinkly, and then when I put it in the altered book especially, you could see the text and like the illustrations peeking through, and I think that was a really interesting concept that I really do want to explore more, is to have that like transparency with the prints and almost seeing how then they can like melt into my page. So that's definitely something that I want to explore. So you can see here I literally just used the end of I think it was some sort of top to a tube and used it as a circle thing, which didn't really translate, but you could see how then there was that more like transparent look on the tracing paper. So that was something that I really liked, and I think when I'm doing things like this, it's all about just picking out like the lessons I'm learning and kind of the threads that I want to follow of the things that have interested me about what I'm creating. So that was definitely something that I enjoyed with this process. So I'd love to know what your favourite techniques are to use with your jelly plate. Maybe it's the type of material that you're using or even the paint. Let me know down below in the comments so that I can try out some different things with my jelly printing. I think that this last print that I did that had this sort of peachy colour almost, it's not quite picking up on camera, was definitely my favourite. I also used a doily as well, which didn't really come out as clearly as I thought it might, but the scalloped edge I thought was really fun, and I did manage to get some of the details. So what I did with these first is I just cut them out so that I could then use them as collage papers, and then I just started tearing them and using them as normal. So I knew I didn't want to cover the entire spread because that would be too much colour for a journal page in my altered book. But I decided to sort of focus it around the edges, as you'll see. And I do really like the way that you can still see the text and the illustration here through the tracing paper one. And it was really fun to see how I could balance bringing these in with my sort of usual comfort style of collaging. So I brought in like some aged papers and some different bits and pieces that are more sort of my normal style, and I was able to sort of mix these in with the journal page that I've got. I really loved the texture that this gave, and I ended up working on top of it with more white paint just to push certain areas back and also help it to blend in with everything that was going on. And then my usual detail work was really fun to do on top of this. So just the like scribbles and mark making that, doesn't really like look like anything in particular, but I think it really adds some nice detail and interest to my pages when they're added. So I used some pencils and some markers actually, as well as like my normal like white pen and things, as you'll see, to create these different effects. And as I was working on this page, it very much felt like more of a background page. I don't know how to describe it. I wasn't immediately drawn to, okay, this is where like the focal point's gonna go, because I didn't add any central like imagery to this. I added a few like sort of leaf stickers, like washi stickers, as you'll see, but I didn't add like a focal point until it came to putting the text on my page. But I realized that I did actually add a piece of book paper that didn't have any text on it, this piece here, which kind of became the focal point. So it was almost like I'd subconsciously added that, knowing that I needed that space of having that negative space where nothing patterned was going on, so that I could then add something to it. But I was kind of sort of feeling my way around the page and thinking, okay, this is kind of, everything is a little bit everywhere. So I wasn't like completely sure with the process of this, and I don't know if it's just because I was working with sort of unfamiliar these gelli prints and trying to figure out how to use those, and it kind of distracted me then from putting a page together. I don't know, it was kind of a bit of a funny one, but it was also fun to work on. And I've not worked in this altered book in a little while, so it was fun also to get back into that. I'm about halfway through it now. I've done quite a lot of pages within this book, so if you are interested in seeing the previous spreads that I have done in this journal, I'll leave the playlist link down below, where you can see all the other videos that I've done working in this little book. It actually started out its life as the 100-day project from last year, which, needless to say, it did not become, but it did become something else. And I think that was a sort of success in that way, and I've absolutely loved working in this book. It's such a cute little size, and I do a lot of like collaging and different things in it, so it's just sort of a bit of a playground really for trying out new things, and there's no real like theme to this or anything, so that's why I thought it was a good place to work with these gelli prints, because it's definitely like a low pressure journal that I can come to. So I think whenever I do end up finishing this one, I'm definitely going to track down another book that's of a similar size. and then just have this be like a little collection of altered books, I think, that I can use as places to play, and also to have as reference. I put in like lettering and quotes and things. So yeah, it's not like a regular thing, but it's definitely something that I've been dipping in and out of, and it's been really fun to use as part of my like overall journaling practice. So yeah, I really love this little book. So like I said, I'll leave a link down below if you want to check out the other episodes in this series. So I think despite the rocky start with the jelly printing, I turned it into a fun textured art journal spread. So I hope you enjoyed joining me for this journey. As always, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.